Hey, everybody, welcome back. Episode 4 of Story Time with your University United Mrs. 2025, Frankie Purdy. So, as I alluded in episode 3, again, if you haven't watched the other episodes, I encourage you to go back, but not necessary for you to be able to know what I'm talking about in the current episode. So, what I want to talk about today specifically is going to be the pageant platform, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. As you all know, or if you don't know, service is the basis of who I am as a person and what I do. And one of the biggest things I enjoy really about pageantry is my ability to serve my community. So I just want to go into a little bit more about platforms. Local talent, local pageants where there's no interview, that is a true of no platform needed. Any pageant system that, for me, any pageant system that is service based, that has an interview, having a strong platform and a scalable platform is very crucial into you doing well in the competition. A lot of people will say a lot of people will say that the pageant is won an interview. Take it as you will. Um, but it's very important that platform not necessary. Just know that there's other girls that are going in with a platform that probably is very strong and detailed and something they can speak about. So just take that into account. But definitely encourage you to start doing your platforms now. There's different ways you can skin this cat. So you can link on to what someone else is doing, right? So if you're in Girl Scouts, or if you like the Red Cross or breast cancer, you can align yourselves with those organizations and say, like, my platform is breast cancer awareness. And I do that through whatever that looks like, right? That's a great place to start. There's this one particular lady that I like a lot, and she talks about her whole thing is pretty much how to win the interview, how to win the pageant through the interview, and she talks about how to create a legacy project, which is literally taking your platform and putting it on steroids, right? Because what you want to do is, instead of saying like, oh, my platform is breast cancer awareness, what they want to see you doing is like, how do you scale that where it's not like you doing something specifically on the tails of, what the Breast Cancer Association does or what Breast Cancer Awareness Association does. It is showing like, how do you do this at your level on your own, and how you can pretty much interject yourself into any organization, maybe a women's group, or maybe talking to anyone, right, about breast cancer awareness specifically. We can use my platform as an example, right? So my platform is called Wellness Royalty. And what my goal is, I focus on women and children ages 5 to 12, and women ages 25 to 55. I know that's like a really big category, but I feel like at those ages, people are really still trying to making their health a priority. And I truly believe that kids are the future. So if we can instill healthy methods into children, then they're going to grow up to be healthy adults, and then continue that cycle so we can become a more healthy world. I teach this, and I do this through education, resources, teaching, demonstrations, and that's how I leverage that. And I do my education through the five holistic health and wellness channels. Very, very outlined, very specific, and I can literally interject myself anything. I could go talk to a middle school, I could go to a Girl Scout troop, I could go to an elderly home will be outside of my target market, but I could do that. I have done classes in my local community on this, teaching this. So it's definitely in line with health and wellness as a whole, but it's specific to me. It's scalable at all levels. I can do it at the local level. I could teach this at the state level. I could go to any state in the nation and teach this. So not only is it something that I'm passionate about, it's also scalable at all levels, right? So if you're going to a state level pageant that requires you have a platform, and the next level is the national level, is your platform scalable at the national level is the question. So those are the type of things you have to think about when you're developing your platform, and also connecting that to what type of pageant you want to do moving forward. If they just want to see that you're able to do community service and get the hours, then maybe a platform at this level really isn't necessary. But the one thing you don't want to do is like, if I'm judging and I know this is a safer space organization that requires you have a platform, I can definitely tell if you just made up this platform for this pageant or if this is something that you actually do. Remember, when you go into a pageant interview, I'm not really too interested on what you can do. I want to know what you have done. So I don't want to, I necessarily not interested in hearing is like, yes, I just created this platform and I will do this or I will do that or I can do that. What's going to separate you from someone else is the fact that you've been doing it. My platform is Wellness Royalty, and in Wellness Royalty, I've already committed 100 hours of teaching services to my local community. What I love about my platform is that I'm able to scale this to the state and national level. Through my title, I would want to connect with, other high schools or middle schools throughout the nation, out throughout the state, where I can continue this education at that level. That's something that would be highly interesting to a judge. So at the end of the day, the easiest way, if you're not quite sure what you're passionate about in terms of community service, is just connecting with a few different organizations within your community and seeing what your passions may or may not be. You might think that, this particular thing is your passion, and then you actually start doing it. And you're like, you know what? This really isn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be. It's easy to align yourself with something at first and then to see what the need is and then turning that in to how you scale your platform, how you're able to insert yourself into other organizations. So platform development can get very detailed and very intricate. There are numerous coaches out there that will assist you with interview prep, that will help you create your platform, that can help you with these things. And so I know in another episode, I definitely want to talk about the importance of having your pageantry tribe, because no man is an island. And it is very important that you have supporters behind you, because there's going to be some days where it gets hard and you're not going to want to do it anymore. But if you already paid that $1,000 entry fee, maybe not doing it is not an option. So you definitely want to ensure that you have that pageant community, which is just as simple as the support from your family. So I'm blessed where I have full support from my husband, my parents, my friends. They're continuously checking up on me. They're encouragingly, supporting me monetarily, even through words of kindness. Like, all the things is so supportive. My sister queens, like people I've competed with in the past, are also, that stand behind me and really motivate me and push me to continue to keep going. And then also too, this time around, I did enlist a coach. Coaching can get very expensive. So possibly you could ask a coach to sponsor you through services, which is very beneficial because it just saves you some money on the back end. And then you just taking the time to encourage, others who are in pageantry to utilize their services, moving forward. So those are just some things to think about when it comes to specifically your platform. If there's anything that I've talked about that sounded interesting that you want me to expand upon, just put it in the comments. I read them and I will definitely expand on those moving forward for future episodes. But I really want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me and listen to my views on things. At the end of the day, these are just my views. For every opinion that I have, somebody else has a different or opposing opinion. At the end of the day, you just have to go with whatever resonates with you the most. And whoever just, if it resonates with you, listen to it. If it doesn't, move on to the next, because definitely everyone has an opinion for sure. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.